Hi guys, this time's card is inspired by this Christmas card that I made earlier, which has this sort of magnetic Secret Santa flap. So we're going to try something similar lines, but as with these things they always sort of turn out completely different, but we'll see how it goes and work from there. And please excuse the plaster on the finger. We had a bit of an argument with the Martha Stewart circle cutter. Next time, read the instructions prior to trying to take the lid off the sharp part. Okay, so what we've got here is two white cards. The first one is 8 inches by 8 inches, and just then to be awkward, the most exact measurements on this one is in centimetres, and it's 10.5 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, obviously folded. And I've just sort of cut that to size, that just by eye really, to fit on the front there. Then we've got some different papers, and this lovely shiny gold paper. So we're going to sort of go as we go along and see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this green piece of paper on the front part of this card. Okay, so let's get our glue and start sticking. The plan is with this, you see, is that I'm going to stick this on the front part, and then I'm going to attempt to cut out little windows, which I have pre-cut already, pre-designed already on my gypsy. Hopefully in the right place, hence why I'm putting lots of glue, because obviously we're going to be cutting holes in it and I don't quite know where the edges will be. So we just stick this down, which is easier said than done when you've got a camera in the way. There we go. And then I'm going to cut round to make it to the right size, and then I'll come back to you in a minute when we're on the Cricut. So here we are over at the Cricut, and this is what I've done on the gypsy. I've got 4 squares which I've taken from George, 4 rounded squares, and I've worked out the position, particularly of this one in the corner here that's going to be the front part. The other piece, which is going to be on the back part of the card, doesn't matter so much. So I've sort of altered and fiddled around with the dimensions, so without the gypsy I think you'd have trouble doing that, but you could still do this sort of card, you just have to do it with strict dimensions. Okay, so let's get cutting. Table, as you can see, we've now got 2 sort of windows cut out. This piece is obviously hugely too big, but it's to go in here, and then it's that way round, and then I'll chop the other side off in a minute. But I want to put some acetate in between to make like a glass effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this pin flare gel glue, because I think that would be quite helpful. I'm just going to put a little smidge of that all the way around. Tiny bit up here as well, just so it sticks. This stuff's so good to use. I really found, I've only just started using it and I'm really finding it helpful. This was obviously a piece I've pre-cut, and just stick that in place. Clean up any pieces that we need to. I'm not too worried about that because I am going to put some glitter glue on the front to make that look kind of really like snowy scene. You'll see where we're going in a minute. Now we need to put the back part of the window frame so that when the person opens this part of the card, it still looks nice. So again, I'm going to use some of this pin flare glue. This sticks fantastically well, but also what I found is that it just gives you that bit of time to have some movement in when you put something on, so that helps. And just down this piece here. And what's wonderful is it stays in this little syringe, and it doesn't dry up, it just stays in there for weeks and weeks. I mean, assuming you don't use it in that time. and then you just keep filling it up from the tube, which is fantastic. Okay, so just place that on like so. Okay, now I'm not going to cut that edge off yet, but I will do, but I'm going to give this a chance just to dry down before we start cutting at it, because we don't want to start moving at it. So while that's drying, we'll move on to the next piece. So the next thing that we need to do is start decorating the front of our 8x8 card. So I'm going to take this piece of gold and white paper, and I'm going to stick that to the front. So I've got my Pro Glider. At the moment my ATG is not working too brilliantly, and so I'm sorting back to this, which for some reason I never seem to manage to get right on the edges. Always seem to go over. And then stick it down. Make sure it's the right way around. Okay, oops. I'm not too worried about the top part, it's only, and the side parts. It's only the part that's on the fold that I'm worrying about getting in the right place and not succeeding. There we go. Because the rest of it I'm gonna cut around anyway. Okay, so I'll just go and do that, and I'll be back with you in a minute. What I've done while I've been away is I've stuck all that together, put a piece of that on the back, although actually I'm not sure it really matters because I don't think it's going to show in the end. And I've put the gold on this one. So the next thing to do is to put the inside of the house, as it were, on the inside of the window. So let's put some glue down on here, and in the centre, like so. And even though it looks wonky, it's putting it in the place that I want it to be when the window part's actually closed. And then I'm just going to take some of this glue gel and stick that all around just the edges here. Just stick that all down together. Okay, then we're going to leave that to dry, and shortly we're going to put some stickles or something on the window part to make it look more icy. Well, while that was drying, I put together this little 3D decoupage robin, and he's going to go on the outside of our window. So now we're going to position this in the centre of the card, and again I'm going to use some of this 3D gel, this glue gel, because I think that would be nice and strong, because it's quite a heavy amount now on the front of that card. So we put that on. Make sure it's opening in the right way, and then pop that in the centre of the card, like so. Okay, now that's because we're not moving too much, we can put our robin on, and I'm just going to pop him in the corner like so. And I've put 3D foam, and we just got one more piece to pick off here, and then we're going to just pop him down in the corner. There we go. So instead of stickles, I've decided to use this liquid applique, and I'm going to apply that on our robin here, where the snow would be, like so. And obviously this is in white. It looks cream at the moment, but don't panic. And then on the windows, sorry if I'm wobbling you guys. And the last window here. Now you can either leave this to dry as it is naturally, but then you don't get the puff. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our heat gun. Now they do recommend doing it from behind. Unfortunately, because of the thickness of the card, that's just not going to work. So excuse the noise. Let's lift this so you can see what happens. There it goes. Puffing up. Beautiful. I need to be a little bit more careful near the acetate because I don't want to wrinkle it. Oh, and it's burning my fingers. I've got enough problems on my fingers at the moment. I'll turn that over and hold it from that side because that's burning. Okay. And then lastly, on the, oh, not quite lastly actually, sorry, I'm telling lies. We're going to put, instead of ribbon, I'm going to put a sentiment on. So again, I'm just going to use some of this, oh, sorry guys, you can't see, some of this thick, Pinfag gel, and I'm going to do it a little bit thicker. So it gives a 3D effect. I probably didn't need to put quite as much as that on, but... And then try and lift that up without getting it completely all over myself. And then I'm going to put that just over the corner, and that just reads Merry Christmas. And we're going to leave that at a jaunty angle, so, and then that will dry off. But just while that's drying, I'm going to pop this in a nice box just to protect it, and I'm going to use some of this Crafter's Companion Spray and Sparkle glitter. Now, although this is a gold card, it is meant to be a snowy scene, so I am actually going to be using silver, and then we're just going to spray over the top like so to give a really nice frosty glitter to it. Thanks again for watching, and see you again soon.